Today, I'm going to show you guys how you can swing at your opponents non-stop with the ultimate combo of UlforceVeedramon. Digimon fans, welcome back. Today we'll be showcasing the brand new UlforceVeedramon deck. BT11 introduced an entire new line of support for the Veedramon archetype. The main goal of this deck is to build into your stack with Ulforce and then play lots of tamers continuously in one big turn so that it can unsuspend and swing multiple times. The tamers also provide extra benefits such as gaining memory, drawing cards, adding DP to power up, and many more. The full power combo of this deck is so insane that it can even OTK your opponents out of nowhere. If you're new to this deck, the combo might be quite complicated to understand at first, but don't worry, I got you covered as I will show you guys how to pull it off seamlessly later on. I am also super excited to announce a new feature on my channel where I launched my very first ever YouTube membership called the Avault Club. By joining, you will have access to exclusive perks and contents that regular viewers don't have. Perks include the Avault Club membership badge, and the best part is that you'll be able to see members only community posts featuring my first draft deck profiles even before the video comes out. You will see more updates by me for every deck profile release and even updated deck lists and adjustments with all the lists. Your comments and questions will also have priority replies from me. So what are you guys waiting for? Click on the join button right now. Thank you all so much for the support and I look forward to engaging with you guys. Alright, like always, let's begin with our Digi-Egg cards. We got 4 copies of Wanyamon from the new BT11 set. This Digi-Egg is just dedicated for the deck entirely and it just works very well synergizing overall. What it does, it has the inheritable of when attacking once per turn. If you have a blue tamer in play, you get to draw 1 card. We play lots of blue tamers. We're always going to ensure that to happen so that we can always trigger this effect, which is going to be really good. And finding pieces is just going to be really crucial for this deck because you got to find yourself as many tamers as you can, which I'll talk and explain more later on as we go into the deck profile. But yeah, 4 copies is really all you need and you're good to go. Okay, so now let's talk about rookies. We first and foremost do have the 4 copies of the brand new Veemon right here, which is going to be dedicated for the Veedramon line mostly, and it is your searcher, your main searcher of the deck. On play, review the top 3 cards of your deck, adding 1 Digimon card with Veedramon in its name and 1 blue tamer card among them. Place the rest to the bottom. So really great when you do get your double hits with a tamer and a Veedramon alongside. Really good and heritable as well, because your turn once per turn when you play a blue tamer, you get to gain a memory back. So giving you a lot of value if you ever choose to either on play it or choose to grow it in your stack. So definitely 4 copies of 100%. Next up, we still have more Veemons to go through. We got 4 copies of the older EX1 Veemon, the one that just simply gives you an inheritable of your turn once per turn. When this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, gain a memory. We do a lot of unsuspending combos with this deck, so you're always going to be triggering it also once again, especially with your top end UlforceVeedramon combo. This card is just really good. So yeah, I decided to keep it simple. 4 copies is also as well. Now hold on for a second, I have a quick question for you. Do you enjoy Digimon content and deck profiles on the channel? Well, if you do, then be sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell right now because it just really helps. We've got tons of new BT11 deck profiles and videos coming real soon. And while you're at it, I would greatly appreciate it if you can also give this video a like. Thank you so much for the support and let's get back into the video. Next, we have the 4 copies of the EX1 Gabumon, which only provides an inheritable of when attacking once per turn, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, adding yourself 1 Tamer card or 1 Digimon card without Gabumon in its name among them to your hand, and then place the rest to the bottom. He is really there solely for you to continue your searching for your Tamers only, and being able to find your Tamers is just going to be really crucial to once again to help you load up your combos for later on. And yeah, Gabumon is actually just really good in this deck too. That's it for our rookies. Let's talk about our level 4 champions. 4 copies of the brand new Veedramon here. It has a main effect of your turn once per turn. When you play a blue tamer, you get to draw a card. Really good value always if you do have it present on the board. And then it gives you an inheritable, just like the Vmon from earlier on. Your turn once per turn. When you play a blue tamer, you gain a memory back. So again, giving you value. I generally like to stack this more so than have it on the board, just because it can potentially be threatened and it can get deleted. But yeah, keeping it and raising is really more the way to go. But yeah, I'll talk about it more in the combo segment. That's all. Then we have 4 copies of Leomon right here, and as you guys can probably see ahead of time already, we do play the Leomon package, so we are going to talk about it more in depth later on when we get into all the other cards, and we do play Jerry alongside together. And Leomon is just a really good level 4 body because it can provide you blocker while you have a tamer in play. Like I mentioned, you're always going to have a tamer anyway, so it will gain that blocker, but also on deletion it gains you 2 memory and draw 1 card. Really good for a defensive card and an offensive card at the same time. Very versatile. And yeah, I really like the Leomon package, and it has worked out very nicely in UlforceVeedramon deck. And there are some really cool combos I can showcase you guys with this card as well later on. And then to round off for the level 4s, 2 Kumamons. I wish I can play more hybrids in this deck simply because I play so many tamers, and you sometimes might want to switch up your strategy and go play multiple hybrids for game. Unfortunately, deck space is tight, so I can only include 2 hybrids here. Kumamon is just for the effect of when Digivolving to trash one of your opponent's sources. Otherwise, if you want DP power, totally go for Lobomon instead, and really just comes down to personal preference of whichever you like. But yeah, Kumamon is great. That's it for level 4s. Level 5s. 4 copies of, once again, the brand new UlforceVeedramon right here, and he does a lot of really good stuff for you to bridge into your top end combos for later on, and really great setup. Main, once per turn, by suspending this Digimon, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add all blue tamer cards among them to your hand, and then place the rest to the bottom. And that is just extremely good to help you search. You guys can see there's so many tamer related effects because tamers are super important in this deck. It also provides an inheritable of when attacking once per turn, you get to activate one of your arena's on play effects, which is going to be pretty good as well. I don't feel like I use it as often as I was hoping to, but otherwise it's still pretty nice to have for sure. And you definitely want to maximize 4 copies of this because searching for tamers, like I said, is your #1 priority. Then we do have the older UlforceVeedramon from the UlforceVeedramon Starter Deck 8. This one has jamming and gives you inheritable of security +1 as long as you have 8 or more cards in your hand. I really want to add more copies of this card, but again, there's not enough room, and I really love it when I can combo with my top end UlforceVeedramon to make multiple checks, multiple swings with this, and this really gives you the aggression you need to sometimes finish games depending on the matchup, and it's just really, really valuable and really good. So definitely play this card, switch around with ratios if you prefer, but yeah, a 2 is a minimum for sure. That's it for our level 5s. There's not a whole lot, and let's go into a level 4s, which is very straightforward. 4 copies of UlforceVeedramon. The one on the left is the alt art, just so you guys know. And UlforceVeedramon does a whole lot of things. First, his effect is when Digivolving, you can play 1 blue tamer from your hand for free. Now, second effect is your turn. When you play a blue tamer, you unsuspend this guy. Next, its third effect is your turn. Once per turn, when this Digimon becomes unsuspended, you get to return one of your opponent's Digimon level 3 or lower Digimon back to their hand. For every blue tamer you have in play, you get to add an additional level to maximize the card that you can choose to bounce with. So if you have set up like 3 tamers, you can bounce like a level 6, and it can ramp up very quickly and really, really fast. UlforceVeedramon does cost 4 to Digivolve, but don't you guys worry, there are combos, as you guys can see, with all the other card effects. You're going to be gaining a lot of memory back anyway, so you're really getting a good return overall. And yeah, this is your boss Digimon on the deck. You want to see it as soon as possible. You have to play 4 copies of, and this is the only boss Digimon of the deck anyways, and he is your full-on combo trigger card, essentially. So yeah, that's it for UlforceVeedramon. And then, last but not least, to round off for all the Digimon, we do have the one level 7 Blitz Omni for game. Always very nice because it helps you finish games, gives you that extra swing that you need sometimes, and yeah, definitely a nice to have, and definitely a flex card as well, depending on your personal preference. That's it for all of our Digimon. Let's talk about our Tamers, where we have a lot to showcase and a lot to talk about. We got 4 copies of the brand new Rena here. She is really, really important to your top end core combo, which we'll get into again later after the deck profile. But she does a whole lot of things for you too. On play, until the end of your opponent's next turn, one of your Digimon with Vmon or Veedramon in its name gain blocker and evade. All turns, when one of your Digimon with Veedramon in its name becomes suspended, by suspending this tamer, you get to activate one of their when digivolving effects. And then, her third effect is your turn once per turn. When one of your blue Digimon becomes unsuspended, you gain a memory. And if you have multiple arenas, you can stack these effects one after another. Really, really good. And you do want to see her as soon as possible, which is why we play a ton of searching for tamers, because your priority is to grab her and find her. And really important to be the partner of UlforceVeedramon 100% with her. Next, we're bringing back a good old promo that many people are super hyped up with this card as well. We have the V Tamer tie, all the way from promo 12, really, really old card, but he's simply a 2-cost hard drop, and he has a main effect. As long as you have a Veedramon in its name on your board, you may suspend this Tamer to activate one of the following effects. First is either you get to draw a card, otherwise the Digimon gains extra 1000 DP, and both these effects are super good for the deck. Drawing cards, finding more combo pieces, potentially drawing into more tamers is really what you want to be going for. Otherwise, you want to buff up your UlforceVeedramon and give it extra DP so you can ensure it safely swings into security. Therefore, DP becomes more important with this Tai Kamiya. So for some of you guys, I know this card is going to be hard to access, hard to find. I will have other recommendations for you guys in the other cards consideration after the deck profile as well. So don't worry, I'll show you guys some kind of alternatives that you guys can play if you don't have V-Tamer tie. Next up, we got another 4 copies of the Tamers where we have Jerry right here. You guys saw it earlier already. We played the Leomon package, which we mentioned already, and on play, Jerry lets you play a Leomon from your hand for free, which is going to be really good. Lots of value, super beneficial for you 100%. And also she has a secondary effect. Opponent's turn, when an opponent's Digimon attacks, you may suspend this Tamer to draw 1 card, which is also very decent as well. But yeah, you definitely want to maximize 4 copies of hers to help you synergize with the maximum copies of your Leomon, so you can always be playing it very consistently. And then last but not least, we got the 2 Davises. You guys always know how crucial and how good he really is as a staple for any blue decks. He is your memory tamer, letting you search even more, which is going to be really good. Lots of great synergy. Yeah, 2 is really all you need though. That's it for tamers. Let's talk about options. Since we're talking about more searching, you guys know Blue Memory Boost is also another really good staple to have. Essentially just another rookie for you, searching for more cards, delay gaining 2 memory, making your plays for later on. Always really great value, 100%. And then last but not least, to round up for all the options and the last card of the deck, we do have the 1 copy of Ice Wall. This is your sole and only defensive card other than Leomon. And yeah, really, really broken card. Must always have. Definitely a blue staple for the deck for sure as well. Alright, that's it for the 50 card main deck. Let's talk about other alternative cards that I kind of considered adding, and some of you guys can consider adding as well into the deck when you're building UlforceVeedramon. First, we have another baby to introduce. We have Baby-Domon right here from EX3. All turns once per turn, when a Digimon with Dramon or Examon in its name becomes unsuspended, this Digimon gains extra 1000 DP for the turn. Like I mentioned, UlforceVeedramon only has 12k DP, so it is kind of vulnerable, and it can be deleted by security battles, and Baby-Domon gives you that extra 1000 DP since it is a UlforceVeedramon Dramon in its name, and you always unsuspend anyways, so yeah. That extra 1000 DP is going to help a lot. The next other rookie we have right here is the Gabumon from Starter at 8. If you guys play Metal Gurumon X deck, you guys would know exactly why this is also really good because of its inheritable all turns. If you have 8 or more cards in your hand, you get extra 1000 DP as well. So giving more buff, you do always have a lot of cards. You have draw power, you have search power in this deck, which is always going to give you and help you get to that threshold. So if you guys really prioritize DP, these are some really good cards to actually include in the deck for sure as well. Next, we have the Vmon from the UlforceVeedramon starter deck, and as well as the older UlforceVeedramon right here. So let's talk about the Vmon first. This one gives you a lot of great inheritables when it comes to when attacking, not once per turn. If you have 7 or fewer cards, you get to draw 1 card. Early stages of the game, if you do need to cycle more, this card is just really good to help you get there. It also has the main effect of if your opponent has a level 6 or higher Digimon in play, this can warp into an UlforceVeedramon for 4 cost, skipping all the other requirements, which is going to be really, really good, because sometimes if you can pull it off, it's going to help out. The only reason why I didn't include this Vmon in particular is because I felt like I have enough draw power anyways in this deck, and when I do go to my top end combo, I already have 8 or more cards in my hand usually, so I don't really get to use its effect as much. However, there are some situations you do run into that. And on the other side, with the starter deck 8 UlforceVeedramon, when digivolving, return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon back to their hand. And then it has a when attacking, if you have 8 or more cards, you get to unsuspend this Digimon. Can come in clutch, which is quite a nice tech card. You guys can see we don't run a whole lot of level 6s. It's the only 4 BT11 UlforceVeedramons that we have there. So if you guys feel like you want to amp up your level 6s a little bit more, then this one's definitely a decent add for sure. I would say just a one-off tech anyways. So that goes there for the package. So then now let's talk about some other alternative tamer options that you can play instead of the V-Tamer tie. First, we have the BT2 Rina. She is really good because her effect lets you on play searches for one Veedramon. So definitely great for sure. And also it has a your turn effect. When one of your blue Digimon attacks, you may suspend her to give it extra 1000 DP per turn. Like we discussed earlier, DP can be sort of this deck's weakness at times. So having her really compensates for that. Otherwise, there's another tamer you guys can add, which is Sora and Joe. Also still a really good card to give you extra memory as long as your opponent has a Digimon with no sources on board. Otherwise, you can also strip your opponent's sources at the same time. So these are just some of the 2 really good alternatives that you guys can play for sure. And then last but not least, I do want to talk about Hammer Spark and Kakaida's Breath. You guys notice that there's not a whole lot of the defense in this deck. The defense really just mainly comes from Ice Wall and the Leomon. And that is really because you want to go straight gas and straight into your combo when you can. And that's what the approach I decide to go for. But sometimes I do feel like I really wish I had a bit of the defense if I'm not getting there. And these 2 cards are definitely some of the ones that you can definitely add in for sure, which I did not include at all in the deck. So yeah. Alright, now that we talked about all the cards, let's show you guys the UlforceVeedramon combo. There's quite a lot to sort of think about when you pull off this combo. He really only has one straightforward combo, and it's really about seeing as many tamers as you can. But anyways, it can get a little bit complicated, but don't worry, I will explain step by step to you guys how this all works. So of course, you hatch your egg, it's always going to be your Wanyamon, and your rookie options is really very versatile. Any of the 3 rookies you can digivolve is totally fine. Sometimes I actually do like the Gabumon a little bit more because it helps me ensure that I can find more tamers and whatnot, but all of them provide great inheritables. The one I would actually try to sit back and try not to digivolve would actually be the Vmon, simply because he actually helps you search, and this is the card that you want to be hard playing as much as you can. So of course, like always, early stages of the game, you will also play your blue memory boost, and Davis would be your memory tamer, which will help you a lot for those searching capabilities. So let's just say you digivolve into Gabumon right here. And then next, you do want to digivolve into your Veedramon. I rarely move up the Veedramon because I actually don't want to be playing my tamers that early in the stage of the game. Not only that, if you move your level 4 up, it's super susceptible to your opponent's removal cards, and you just work so hard to build your stack, you have to rebuild again. So I actually don't really move the Veedramon up, and I rarely even use its main effect unless I really have to, or if I'm already building the stack here and I have a second copy of it, I will go out here like this. So otherwise, ensuring that you always have your Veedramon there is more of the priority. And then you will want to be digivolving into your Arrow Veedramon and then passing to your opponent's turn. And then your opponent's going to do their combo, make their play, and then pass you back to 3. Ideally, having Davis does give you a lot of advantages. However, this combo can still be workable if you only have 2 memory to work with or something like that. So, but anyways, let's just say you're at 3 here. And then what you really want to be seeing is having your Ulforce here in your hand and your Rina as well. The more you have, the better. Now, just before I get into the combo, you guys might have realized the setup of this combo right here, where I see a lot of people may have made mistakes during the early stages of the game, is they end up playing some of these tamers here, which you actually don't really ideally want to do unless you really have to. By playing these tamers in the early stages of the game, you're wasting your ammunition for UlforceVeedramon. Imagine UlforceVeedramon is your cannon, and these tamers are basically the ammunition for the cannon of your combo. And you cannot waste your ammo that early in the stage of the game. But anyways, once you're ready, you push it out. Once you push it out, you always want to be using UlforceVeedramon's main effect. Anyways, by suspending it, you get to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you get to add all the tamers you find. So adding more tamers, the better. So you're really trying to look at and finding your tamers here. Don't worry if it's suspended. You're still going to be able to make your attacks this turn. Now, you will pay the 4 memory to digivolve your UlforceVeedramon into UlforceVeedramon here. Next, you would use UlforceVeedramon's effect. When digivolving, you may play a tamer from your hand. Now you play Rena. Rena's on play's effect now happens. Until end of your opponent's next turn, one of your Digimon with Vmon or Veedramon gain blocker and evade. So you would give it to this one. You can give it to this one if you want to, but ideally I would give it to this one. Very important for later on as well. And I'll explain why. Next, you now resolve your second effect of UlforceVeedramon. Because you played a tamer, you get to unsuspend him. And then now next, you have other effects to trigger as well. Because you played a blue tamer, your Veedramon inheritable right here will give you a memory back. Another one, Rena's third effect. Your turn once per turn, when one of your blue Digimon unsuspends, gain a memory. You can choose whichever order to resolve, but keep in mind there's a lot of things that you're going to be resolving at the same time when you're doing this. And then last but not least, you have UlforceVeedramon's third effect. Your turn once per turn, when this Digimon becomes unsuspended, you can return one of your opponent's Digimon back to their hand. In this case, at this moment, since you have Rena and Davis, you can return a level 5 or higher back to their hand. If you had more tamers set up earlier, then you can return an even higher level, which is going to be really, really great. Now that you put memory back to your side, it's still your turn now. This is when you can actually use your UlforceVeedramon to attack. So you use it to attack, you draw more with Wanyamon, you use the Gabumon inheritable now to search, and then you can even use the UlforceVeedramons when attacking to on-play the Rena again. By using this on-play Rena, you can give this Vmon evade and blocker as well. Now, because you're suspending your UlforceVeedramon, Rena's second effect now gets to activate all turns when one of your Digimon with Veedramon in its name becomes suspended. By suspending her, you can't activate one of its when digivolving effects. Now keep in mind UlforceVeedramon's first and second effects are not once per turn, meaning if you have another Rena, you just want to continue to stack her as much as you can. So if you play another Rena now, you get her on-play effect, but both of these guys already have evade and blockers, so not really applicable anymore. But because you're on-play the tamer, UlforceVeedramon now gets to unsuspend. Now because you have Rena's third effect, because it unsuspended, you get to gain a memory back right here. Another really cool thing to keep in mind is that your UlforceVeedramon has evade now, and because of that, if it ever would be deleted by security battle, you can actually suspend it to prevent it from deletion, so it also gives it like a pseudo jamming effect. Although not optimal, but sometimes you gotta do whatever it takes to keep your UlforceVeedramon alive on the board. So now at this moment, you have a brand new unsuspended UlforceVeedramon and a brand new Rena that is also unsuspended, meaning that you can now swing in again with this UlforceVeedramon. Suspend this Rena to use her effect because of its second effect. So then you can activate UlforceVeedramon's when digivolving effect once more, and the more Renas you have, the more you can spam her out. You want to just keep going non-stop with her, which is going to be really, really good. And then that's when you play your other tamers afterwards. But let's go through this entire combo, because now you play another brand new Rena, a brand new tamer. You can unsuspend UlforceVeedramon. Because he's unsuspended, Rena's third effect will gain you a memory back here once again. You now have another fresh Rena to use. Swing in once again with Ulforce. Suspend the Rena to use her effect, to use its when digivolving effect once again of Ulforce, and then you play your fourth Rena. This is why it's very important to keep your Renas in your hand for this combo, because the more you have of her, the better it is. Ideally, in most game situations, you'll be playing 2 to 3 Renas, but there are chances that you can have so much draw power and search power, you can ramp up to 3 and 4 Renas for these combos. And this is already 3 checks by now. Your opponent, because you played a Rena, you unsuspend once again. And because you unsuspended, Rena gains you a memory right here. And then you can now have another fresh Rena and another fresh Ulforce, swing in once more right here with the Ulforce, suspend the Rena to activate its when digivolving effect. And now because you've gone through all the 4 Renas, this is when you can go into your other tamers, V-Tamer Tai or Jerry, or sometimes if you have a Davis, whatever tamer you have, you want to just keep playing here. If you want more draw power and DP, then play the V-Tamer Tai. If not, I think Jerry will always be the more valuable one to play. And because you played the Jerry, now you can actually play the Leomon from your hand for free without paying its memory cost, and then you will have a defensive blocker right here that also gives you 2 memory on deletion and draw 1 while at the same time. Now that will be 4 checks in total at this here, and because you played another tamer, UlforceVeedramon gets to unsuspend. So then now we can swing in once more with UlforceVeedramon, and that should be basically 5 checks. And then if you do have like some more memory to work with right here, you can actually even just hard play this V-Tamer tie for 2, and because you played it, you get to unsuspend it once more for the final time, and then you can even use your effects if you want to and whatnot, and then swing in here for the final last check. Otherwise, if you don't have it, you can go into Blitz Omni, or otherwise you can continue extending your turn, and you can actually even Digivolve your Leomon into an AeroVeedramon instead, and you go down to 1, and you can continue searching for your tamers. And this is why it's really, really good, and this is how the OTK combo really works, and how you want to be playing the UlforceVeedramon deck. That'll wrap up for the deck profile for today. If you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please give it a like. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, or questions, be sure to share it with everyone in the comments down below. Once again, we got tons of brand new BT11 deck profiles and videos coming your way, so definitely subscribe and turn on that notification bell right now to stay tuned so you guys know as soon as those videos come live. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you next video, and it's Avault signing out.